My name is Madeline. I live in Manchester. I got married when I was just 21 years old. It was a love marriage. My husband's name was Martin. He was a quiet and kind man. He never raised his voice. He always spoke gently. At first, I thought I was lucky. But from the very first day, his mother disliked me. Her name was Mrs. Henderson. She didn't hide her feelings. She didn't want me in her house. I tried to win her heart. I woke up early every morning. I cooked for the family. I cleaned every room. I smiled and showed her respect. I touched her feet like a daughter. But she never smiled back. Her face was always cold. Her words were always sharp. I had a soft heart. I wanted love. But that house had no love for me. 1 year passed. I got pregnant. I was so happy. I couldn't stop smiling. I started talking to my baby every night. I imagined little hands, little feet, and a sweet laugh. I dreamed of becoming a mother. I held my belly gently and whispered good night. But everything changed one morning. I felt a strange pain in my stomach. It was sudden. It was strong. I fell on the floor and screamed. Martin rushed me to the hospital. I cried and prayed. I held my belly and said, "Please, God, save my baby." The pain was terrible, but the silence afterward was worse. After some time, the doctor came out. His face was serious. He looked at me and said, "I'm sorry. Your baby did not survive." My world broke. My heart stopped. I couldn't speak. I couldn't move. I just stared at the wall. I lost my baby. I lost my dream. After that, I was not the same. My body felt weak, but my heart hurt even more. I stayed in my room most days. I didn't talk to anyone. I didn't eat much. I just cried. My mother-in-law stood outside my door. She spoke loud enough for the whole house to hear. "She is bad luck," she said. "She brought death into our family." Her words were like knives. I waited for someone to hold me. I waited for Martin to say it was not my fault. But no one came. Martin stopped asking how I felt. He stopped sitting beside me. He just walked past like I was not there. I was breaking, and he didn't care. One night, Martin came into the room. I thought he would hug me. I thought he would say something kind. But instead he looked at me and said, "Maybe you are not meant to be a mother." I stared at him. My heart broke again, this time into smaller pieces. I cried all night. I held my pillow and asked God, "Why me?" The house felt darker. The air felt heavy. Every sound made me feel worse. Days passed. I visited doctors. I took all the medicines they gave me. I prayed every single night. I hoped. I begged. But nothing changed. I did not get pregnant again. Then one evening, Something terrible happened. We were sitting at the dinner table. Everyone was quiet. Suddenly, my mother-in-law spoke. Her voice was loud. Her words were cruel. She will never give us a child. She is useless. No one said anything. Not even Martin. I felt small. I felt like I didn't belong. I stood up and ran to my room. I locked the door and fell to the floor. I cried until I could not breathe. I looked at my hands and asked, "What is wrong with me?" I felt like I was not a real woman. I felt empty. I felt like I had no place in that house. No one came to check on me, not even Martin. I was alone with my pain. I was invisible. Then came the biggest blow. One morning, Martin's mother said something that shocked me. She told Martin, "She doesn't want a baby. She is seeing someone else." It was a lie. A big, cruel lie. But Martin believed her. He looked at me with cold eyes. He didn't ask me anything. He didn't trust me. He just said, "I want a divorce. Leave this house today." I stood still. I couldn't believe it. My hands started shaking. My lips moved, but no words came. I packed my bag slowly. I picked up my few clothes. My heart was heavy. I was thrown out like trash. Just like that, my life was over. I walked out of that house with no place to go. I had no parents, no sister, no friend. I was alone in the world. I found a small room on a quiet street. I paid rent with the little money I had saved. I didn't even have a bed, just a thin mattress on the floor. Every night I lay there and cried. I asked God, what did I do wrong? I needed food. I needed work. I found a small book cafe nearby. They needed help. I said yes. I arranged books. I cleaned the counter. I served tea. I smiled at people. But inside, I was broken. Then one afternoon, something happened. A man walked into the cafe. He looked calm. He had kind eyes. He asked for a cup of tea and a book about birthdays. I gave him the book. He saw my eyes. They were red from crying. He asked, "Are you okay?" I tried to answer, but I couldn't speak. My tears came first. I looked away and shook my head. He didn't say anything else. He just gave me a soft smile and left. But the next day, he came again. Before I share the rest of my story, I need to know, where are you listening from? Knowing someone hears me, understands me, gives me strength. The next day, the same man came back. He walked in with a quiet smile. He ordered tea again and asked for a new book. I gave him one. He said thank you and sat at the back table. He didn't talk much, but he looked around like he enjoyed the place. When he left, he waved at me. It was a small wave, but it felt warm. I didn't know why, but I smiled back. He started coming every day, always at the same time, always the same seat. He would read for an hour and drink his tea. Some days he brought a small pastry. Some days he brought a book from home. He never asked many questions, but he always smiled kindly. One day, I asked his name. "James," he said. "And you?" "Madeline," I answered. We both smiled. From that day, we talked a little more. He told me he worked nearby. He was a designer for children's books. I liked that. He said he loved stories. He said stories helped people heal. His voice was soft and slow. When he talked, I listened. And for the first time in a long time, I felt safe. James never asked about my past. He didn't try to fix me. He just made me feel like I mattered. Some days we talked about books. Some days we sat in silence. But it was a good silence. A peaceful one. I began to wait for 4 p.m. every day. That was when he came. Weeks passed. I laughed again. I smiled more. I started sleeping better. I even started eating a little more. James noticed. "You look better," he said one day. I nodded. I still cried sometimes, but the tears were not so heavy now. They didn't break me. They just washed me gently. I didn't tell him about Martin, or the baby, or the pain. I wasn't ready, but something in my heart told me James would understand when I was ready. One rainy evening, I forgot my umbrella at the cafe. I was closing the shop, and the streets were wet. James was still inside. "Let me walk you home," he said. I started to say no, but I saw his gentle eyes. I said yes. We walked slowly under his umbrella. The rain was soft. I told him where I lived, just 5 streets away. We didn't talk much, just walked, just shared the same umbrella. At my door, he stopped. "Good night, Madeline," he said. "Good night, James," I whispered. My heart felt warm. After that, we got closer. James came on Sundays, too. Sometimes he helped me carry boxes. Sometimes he brought flowers for the cafe. Once he brought a book for me. "This helped me when I was lost," he said. I took it with both hands. "Thank you," I said softly. That night I opened the book. It was about a woman who lost everything, and how she slowly found light again. I cried while reading it, but I also felt hope. After 6 months, I told him the truth. I told him everything. About my marriage, about the baby, about the pain. I was afraid he would change, that he would feel sorry for me, but he didn't. He just listened. He held my hand gently and said, "I'm so sorry you went through that." That was all. No judgment, no advice, just kindness. Time passed. James became my closest friend. We had dinner sometimes. We went to the park. Once we saw a little boy feeding birds. I smiled. James looked at me. "You want a child someday?" he asked. I didn't answer. I just looked at the boy and nodded. James didn't push. He just said, "You'd be a wonderful mother." One evening, James came to the cafe early. He was quiet. He looked nervous. I asked if he was okay. He smiled. "Madeline," he said, "I've known you for a year now. You are strong. You are kind. I know you've been hurt. But if you let me, I want to be your future." My heart beat fast. I looked at him. He was not perfect, but he was good. He had seen my pain and stayed. He had walked beside me every day. I smiled through my tears. "Yes," I whispered. "Yes, James." 2 months later, we got married. It was a small wedding, just close friends. No big dress, no big hall. But it was full of love. I wore a white dress. James wore a soft gray suit. We held hands and said simple vows. After the wedding, we came home to our little flat. We ate cake. We laughed. We danced in the kitchen. I was happy. For the first time in years, I was truly happy. Then something happened. I started to feel sick in the mornings. I felt tired all the time. James smiled and said, "Maybe it's the tea at the cafe." But I knew. Deep inside, I knew. I went to the doctor. They did some tests. When the doctor returned, she smiled. "Congratulations," she said. "You're going to be a mother." I covered my face with my hands and cried, but these were happy tears, bright tears, warm tears. I couldn't believe it. After everything, I was pregnant again. I walked home slowly. I opened the door and saw James in the kitchen. He was cooking dinner. He turned and smiled. I walked to him and held his hands. "I'm pregnant," I said softly. His eyes widened. He dropped the spoon. He hugged me tight. He didn't speak. He just held me like I was the most precious thing in the world. The months passed. I saw the doctor often. James came to every appointment. He never let me go alone. He held my hand during the scans. He kissed my forehead after every checkup. He painted the baby's room. He read books about parenting. He whispered to my belly every night. "We love you, little one," he said. "We can't wait to meet you." Then the day came. The pain started early in the morning. James was calm. He held my hand and took me to the hospital. The pain grew stronger. I cried. I screamed. But James stayed. "You can do this," he said again and again. And then I heard it. A baby's cry. A strong, beautiful sound. I cried too. The nurse placed the baby in my arms. "It's a boy," she said. I looked into his eyes. They were small and shining. I touched his fingers. I kissed his cheeks. "You are my miracle," I whispered. "You are my light." James sat beside me and kissed my forehead. "Welcome, Leo," he said. "Welcome to our world." We named him Leo James. He was soft and sweet. He cried at night. He smiled in his sleep. I stayed up just to watch him. My arms felt full. My heart felt full. The house felt warm again. I no longer lived in pain. I lived in hope. James was the best father. He changed diapers. He made bottles. He sang songs. Every time Leo laughed, James laughed louder. Every time Leo cried, James held him first. We were a family. A real, loving family. Not perfect, but full of care. One afternoon, when Leo was 4 years old, we were waiting for a bus. The sun was soft. Leo held my hand and sang a little song. I smiled at him. Then I heard someone say my name. "Madeline." I turned around. My heart skipped a beat. It was Martin. He looked older, thinner. His eyes were tired. He stared at me, then at Leo. "Is he your son?" he asked. I nodded. "Yes," I said. "He's my son." Martin looked like he wanted to say more, but he didn't. He just looked down. "You look happy," he said. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. My face said it all. Leo pulled my hand. "Mama, the bus is here." I smiled. "Let's go, sweetheart." I looked at Martin one last time. His eyes were full of regret. But I didn't feel pain. I didn't feel hate. I just felt peace. I had moved on. I had grown. And I had everything I needed. We got on the bus. Leo sat by the window and looked outside. I sat beside him and looked at his little face. His eyes were full of joy. His world was full of songs, stories, and hugs. He had no idea who that man was. And I didn't tell him. He didn't need to know. Some truths are too heavy for small hearts, and some stories are better left behind. When we got home that day, I sat down and thought about everything, all the years, all the pain, all the tears. I thought about the cold house where I once lived. I remembered the words that broke me, the nights I cried alone, the mornings I didn't want to wake up. And then I looked around me. My small home was full of love, toys on the floor, books on the table, James making tea in the kitchen, Leo drawing on the wall with crayons. My life had changed. Not quickly, but slowly, day by day, step by step. I still had scars, but they didn't hurt anymore. They reminded me how far I had come, how much I had survived, and how strong I had become. One day, I was walking past a small shop with Leo. I saw a girl sitting behind the counter. She had red eyes. She looked tired. She looked like me. Years ago. I wanted to say something, but I didn't know what. So I smiled. A small, soft smile. She didn't smile back, but I saw her eyes change for a second. Maybe she felt less alone. That evening I told James, there are so many women like me. Women who lost everything. Women who are called unlucky. Women who are blamed when it's not their fault. He looked at me. Yes, he said. There are. I want to help them, I said. I don't know how yet, but I want to. James didn't ask questions. He just nodded. Then let's help them, he said. So I started small. I spoke to the owner of the cafe. I asked if I could use the place for a few hours each week. She said yes. On Saturday mornings, I placed a small sign outside. You are not alone. Come in. Sit. Talk. No judgment. Just tea and peace. The first week, no one came. I sat alone with 2 cups of tea and some biscuits. But the second week, one woman walked in. She sat across from me. She didn't speak. She just cried. I held her hand. She cried for a long time. Then she whispered, "Thank you." That was enough. Week by week, more women came. Some were young. Some were old. Some had children. Some didn't. But they all carried pain. And they all needed a soft place to fall. We didn't have money. We didn't have a big room. But we had each other. We had tea. We had stories. And slowly, we found healing together. We called it the second cup, because everyone deserves another chance, another beginning, another cup of warmth in life. Years passed. Leo grew tall. His hair got longer. His smile stayed the same. He asked questions, big questions. Mama, why do you help so many people? I smiled. Because once, someone helped me, I said. Because once, I was very sad, and I didn't want to be anymore. James built shelves in the cafe. We placed books written by women, poems, letters, stories. One day, I found Leo reading one. He looked at me and said, "You're in here." I laughed. Maybe, I said. I never heard from Martin again. And that was okay. He was a part of my past. A chapter I had closed. I didn't hate him anymore. I didn't wish bad things for him. I just wished peace. For him. For me. For all broken hearts. One morning, I got a letter. It was from a woman named Eliza. She had visited our cafe 6 months ago. She had lost her baby and was blamed by her family. She felt like her life had ended. But in her letter she wrote, "Because of you, I didn't give up. I didn't believe I was broken. I believed I was just waiting to heal. Thank you, Madeline. You didn't save me. You helped me save myself." I cried as I read it. Not sad tears, but deep, quiet tears of joy. I kept that letter in my drawer. I read it every time I felt tired, every time I felt small, every time I needed to remember why I started. One day, a young girl came in. She looked nervous. She held her bag tight and sat down. I gave her tea. I asked no questions. She said, "My name is Abigail." I felt my heart pause. The name, so familiar, so close to my past. She looked at me and whispered, "I lost my baby, and my husband left me. They all said it was my fault." I reached across the table. I touched her hand and said, "It was never your fault, and you are not alone." She looked at me. "How do you know?" I smiled. "Because your story was once my story." That's when I realized my pain had a purpose. My tears had meaning. My past wasn't just sorrow. It was a bridge from one broken woman to another. Now I live in Leeds. I still work at the book cafe. I still run the Second Cup. I still pour tea every Saturday. I still listen. I still hug. And I still believe. I believe in healing. I believe in second chances. I believe in women. I believe in miracles. I was called unlucky, but now I am blessed. I was called useless, but now I lead others to hope. I was called broken, but now I build. I am a mother. I am a wife. I am a woman of strength. And if you are reading this, if your heart is hurting, please remember this. You are not alone. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are just waiting for your second cup. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share. More emotional and inspiring stories are coming soon.